What did they feed you last night for dinner?
Lasagna. They just gave me a steak lunch right now. They brought it up to my room.
That's so awesome.
I was mad, too. I said, dude, because I went in there at 2, and they said, no, we're watching film. I'm not allowed to watch film with them anymore.
Why?
Because it's secret.
Because you're too smart?
Yeah, I always say how stupid they are.
Welcome to a very special Inland Sports TV show. I'm Pep Fernandez, and I always get the feeling that someone's like watching over me, like over my shoulder. It's this guy this week, Jeff Gorham, live from Las Vegas with the UC Riverside men's basketball team. He will be on the call tonight as the Highlanders are taking on UNLV. You can listen to the game live at GoHighlanders.com. Jeff, we got a lot to get to. We're going to talk a lot of high school football, too, but you're with the Highlanders. How's it going out there in Vegas?
Well, it seems like the last time I saw my family was about a year and a half ago. My 5-year-old is now entering college, and then I think we're going to be coming home in the next 24 hours. So it's been a long road trip, to say the least.
Well, here's the deal. So Jeff and I went to Oregon State. We called the game Highlanders against the Beavers. What was that? Was that Tuesday? Like a week?
If you asked me, it was like a month ago, but yes, it was Tuesday.
A week ago today, we called the game, we flew back, and then you went back with UCR to do the game against Portland State, and then you went straight to Las Vegas. So you've been gone for like over a week, just on the road.
I have been on the road. I've been living out of a suitcase. But I'll tell you what, I've been staying in some pretty nice hotels. I've been fed well, as you can't, I'm not like...
You're always fed well.
Yeah, I've been fed well. And it's been a great time. I've got to bond with, Coach Patrick and the team. And we're just getting ready to play at the Thomas and Mack Arena, the home that the Riverside native Jerry Tarkanian built.
That's right. It's a beautiful arena out there. You were talking so much about the Thomas and Mack Center. Now you're actually out there. And, UNLV, the Runnin' Rebels, they had their heyday. I mean, that was some really good basketball back in the day with Tark. I know they're trying to rebound. They play in a pretty tough Mountain West Conference. But for UCR, Jeff, for UC Riverside, they're 0-2. They're trying to pick up their first win of the season. Also, it would also mark the first win for head coach David Patrick. I don't know if tonight's the night. How do you kind of see this matchup tonight between the Highlanders and the Runnin' Rebels?
Well, if there's any indication of opponents, Loyola Marymount came in earlier in the week, actually on Saturday, and beat the Running Rebels at home pretty soundly. I think Loyola Marymount and UC Riverside are comparable. They both have very, very good outside shooters. Dragon Ellich, which is the newest player from Australia, played on the junior Australian team, could shoot the ball. Jordan Gilliam's starting to put up a few shots. And Dikembe Martin, the leading scorer from last year, is continuing his tear. I think they have a really good shot. The only thing is UNLV is very stacked. I mean, I'm looking over at their starting lineup, and their smallest guy in the starting lineup is 6'1". They go 6'1", 6'6", 6'9", 6'11", and 6'11". So they're a lot bigger than the Highlanders. But I think just because UC Riverside runs a pretty solid offense, I think they have a shot. A legitimate shot to beat UNLV and at home and to finish off this road trip. It's been a long one, like we said. And the teams they've played, you look at Oregon State, they won 16 games last year. Portland State won 20, and UNLV won 20. So you got 56 wins between three teams last year. And the Highlanders have been in every single one of these games. In fact, they were leading most of the game up at Portland State, and just costly turnovers. They had 24 turnovers that really cost them the ball game against a very good pressing team. Portland State, remember, almost upset Duke last year. So if there's any barometer, I think the Highlanders are on the upswing, and they're a lot better than they've been. So I'm pretty excited about tonight's matchup.
Yeah, if anyone can match up against a big team like a UNLV, I mean, UCR does have Minnow Dykstra. What is he, 7'2"? And how tall is Callum McRae? Is he also 7'2"?
Okay, you have Minnow Dykstra's about 7'1". Callum McRae is a 18-year-old. Get this, 7'2", 285 pounds. And he's got a nice little soft touch around the rim. He's only going to get better. I mean, if you compare him a lot to maybe Alex Larson last year, Alex Larson was a 7-footer. But if you compare the skill level between these two young men, I think Callum McRae is almost on par as where Alex was last year as a senior. So it's a very bright future for the Highlanders. He's one of the first guys that Coach Patrick brought in. And I think he's going to be a very, very key piece in the Big West.
Now, you know what? At home, I have a pack of those red Swedish fish, the candy.
Yes.
Now,
yes.
Is that a thing? Did Coach Patrick, did he have the candy on the side of the table at the Portland State game? Because it was at Oregon State. I don't know if it was just like a one-time deal or if he's one of those guys that has to have the same thing. It's routine. He's got to have the red Swedish fish on the end of the bench.
There were 2 Gatorade cups at the end, sitting right next to me, filled with Swedish fish. So obviously that is Coach Patrick's go-to candy. I am going to do a couple things. I probably will mess with them a little bit this year. I might exchange those candies from the Sour Patch Kids or something strange. Maybe just green M&Ms to make him like a total diva. But I'm going to do something with him. Tonight, though, I'm on press row, which is about 30 rows back behind the bench. So I won't be right there with him this time, but I guarantee I'm going to mess with him this year a little bit.
Yeah, because usually we're right there courtside. I think the only other time that they put you up in the press row was it Michigan when you guys were playing the Wolverines on the road? I think it was like the only other time.
Yeah, I was way up in the nosebleeds last year at Michigan, and I'll probably be on the nosebleeds tonight. But I have my glasses, so I'll be able to see everything. But I also have a monitor as well, so I might just be calling the game from a little TV monitor next to me.
All right, Jeff, listen, before we transition to high school football here, because we got so much to get to here as we go to the CIF Southern Section semifinals, big shout out to the UC Riverside men's soccer team as they have reached the NCAA tournament for the very first time. They beat UC Davis on penalty kicks on Saturday night, so the Highlanders punched their ticket to the big dance, the NCAA tournament for the very first time. They're going on the road to Stockton to take on UC Davis. And, Jeff, if they can knock off the Pacific Tigers come Thursday in the first round of the NCAA tournament, you were telling me they got a huge matchup in the second round if they can get past the first.
Well, if they get past the first round, and remember, they're going up to the University of Pacific. There is a UC Riverside tie there because Janet Lucas, the former associate athletic director, is now the athletic director at Pacific. If they can get past Pacific, they're going to go on to Tobacco Road and play at Duke University.
That would be a lot of fun to see not only UCR pick up their first ever NCAA tournament win, but now to go on the road and play Duke. But first things first, Thursday, first round of the Big Dance as they take on Pacific. Now we go to high school football. And, Jeff, we're going to run through a bunch of different divisions. A little bit later in the show, we're going to have Greg Zomalt, the head football coach at Orange Vista. He's going to join us live in studio. We're also going to break down all the semifinal games in our coverage area. So we've got a dozen games that we will be covering come Friday night. But let's start in Division I. Centennial taking on Mater Dei. Jeff, even going back to last season, most recently, even before week 0 back in August, you could kind of take your brackets and just pencil them in. Centennial versus Mater Dei or Bosco, right? I mean, it was like the sun rising in the east. You knew it was going to happen.
Well, you knew it would happen. The funny thing is, it seems like Centennial, every time they get in a semifinal, I think you'd mentioned, they're always on the road. I mean, it'd be nice for them to play at home one of these times, but they're playing a very good Mater Dei team. And you look at the stats, and I just happened to look over them. Centennial averages 165 yards in rushing. Mater Dei just 8 yards more at 172. Passing-wise, they're pretty even. 20 yards separate the two. But the biggest thing that separates the two, I think, for me is Centennial averages almost 55 points a game. Mater Dei averaging 42. They play in a very tough league. But I think when you get in the groove of scoring the football as Centennial does week after week after week, it's contagious. I think they're going to continue to do so. And I think they have not just a CIF and a state championship on their mind, but I think a national championship is in the grasp for Centennial this year.
Yeah, they'd have to get through Mater Dei and likely Bosco in the finals if they advance. And Jeff, we do have some breaking news here, but I do want to touch on something you just brought up, the fact that Centennial seems to always go on the road in the semifinals. I did bring up some of the stats from the previous years. In 2017, last year, Centennial had to go on the road at Bosco in the semifinals with no Tanner McKee. They lost 62-34. Back in 2016, they also had to go on the road to Bosco in the semifinals, and they lost that one 49-47. That was a very close game, and Bosco won the Open Division State Championship that year. 2015, that's the Pac-5. This was before they went to the division numbers. That was the Pac-5. Centennial beat Mater Dei at Mater Dei in the semifinals 42-36, and then they beat Bosco in the Pac-5 championship game at Angel Stadium 62-52. They went to the State Open Division finals there. So there's a lot of history between not only Centennial and Mater Dei, but Centennial and Bosco, and they always seem, again, to meet in the semifinals or that championship game, and it looks like this year will be no different. But we do have that breaking news, Jeff. I was just telling you before we got on the air, we got a press release from the CIF state office, and I know Coach Zomalt might be interested in this as well. So in Southern California, so we've got the CIF championship games next Friday and Saturday after Thanksgiving. The weekend after that is the regional game. The weekend after that, which would be, I believe, the 7th and 8th, it will be a bye week for the teams in Southern California, with the state championship games pushed back 1 week to December 14th and 15th. Jeff, because of the wildfires that are ravaging California, not only in the Ventura area, but there's several large ones up east of Chico, the air quality is affecting a lot of different people in Northern California as well. So Northern California will play their section championship games. They'll have a bye. Then they'll play their regionals and then the state championship games on December 14th and 15th. So, Jeff, I guess what we were talking about here was, the CIF tried to bump up the entire football season so it wouldn't butt up against Christmas. But here we are. We're getting close to Christmas again because of the wildfires.
And it's kind of, I feel bad for what's going on out there with the fires and so forth. But remember how we started this season. Remember, we had a huge wildfires to start the year, and then it ends with the same thing. A lot of teams didn't even get to practice that first week. I remember we went into week 0, and I think we had North Grand Terrace, and they hadn't practiced for 5 days and had to go in and play. So I think it's a good idea to set everything back just so you get the practice time and to make sure the guys just don't get hurt during that week.
Yeah, going back to that Holy Fire, remember we had Coach Morrison from Santiago on the show, and I mean they completely, they scrapped practice. They took out water and Gatorade and snacks to the first responders. So yeah, you're right. I didn't think about that. We had wildfires kind of ushering in the season, and now we've got it here on the tail end as well. All right, let's continue the high school football talk here. Let's go to the Mountain Pass League. Jeff, this is unbelievable. We have 4 Mountain Pass League schools that have reached the CIF Southern Section semifinals. We've got Citrus Hill, of course, in Division 3. We've got Hemet and Beaumont in Division 11, San Jacinto in Division 7. It's unbelievable. 4 teams from the same league all in the semifinals. We don't see that very often.
No, we don't. And in fact, some of those things, I think you and I were talking earlier in the week. When was the last time Hemet won a CIF championship? I think it was almost nearly over 100 years.
It was almost. Well, I got a friend. His name's Louis Amistoy, and he's from that Hemet San Jacinto area. And he said Hemet is in the semifinals for the first time since 1969. But the only time they'd ever won a CIF championship was back in 1939. So the Bulldogs, man, they haven't been in this territory a lot, but they're back in the semifinals. They're gonna play. They're gonna play. Is it Peninsula? Beaumont's got Western also in Division 11. Beaumont, they haven't been in the semifinals since 1998, and their only CIF championship came in 67. So it's been a long time for both these schools to be this far into the season. And if Hemet and Beaumont reached the Division 11 championship game, they've already done the championship coin flips, Hemet would host Beaumont if it came to that. But, of course, they both got to win in the semifinals first.
Hey, they deserve the coin flip. The last time they won a CIF championship was the year my dad was born, for gosh sake. Give them a home game.
All right, so that's Division 11. Of course, we just touched on Citrus Hill in Division 3. They got Sierra Canyon. That's a big game. And on the other side of the bracket, we've got Cajon going on the road to Capistrano Valley. Let's play some highlights of quarterback Jaden Daniels. Jeff, we've talked about this guy quite a bit on this show. He is now the all-time leading passer in Southern Section history, and he has tossed more touchdowns than anyone else. He's at 13,375 passing yards in his career. He also has 165 touchdowns, recently passing Hank Bachmeier at Murrieta Valley for the section record. And now, Jeff, you got to think Jaden's going to have the semifinals, probably the finals, and who knows, maybe even a game or two in the state playoffs if they continue to advance. He could put both of those historic numbers at a mark that no one's going to touch for a long time.
Hey, you remember last year he was the Inland Sports Mr. Football. Can we just etch his name into have him bring back the trophy? We'll etch his name for 2018 as well. My gosh, I mean, that's one of those records that you look at, and you talk about some of the great players that have come out of Southern California. In the Southern Section, I should say, he's the best quarterback that's ever played, and that's something special. Yeah,
you don't see a lot of 4-year starters. You know, of course, Jaden Daniels at Cajon, Armando Herrera at Redlands East Valley, who we're going to talk about later in the show. He's another guy, of course, Hank Bachmeier at Murrieta Valley. But you don't see those 4-year starters at quarterback a whole lot. And Jaden Daniels, from the get-go, taking his team to the semifinals as a freshman, has been unbelievable. So I'm hoping we'll have a Cajon and Citrus Hill championship game in Division 3. And again, the coin flips for the finals have already been done. If that happens, Citrus Hill would travel to San Bernardino to take on Cajon. Now, let's go to another thing here. Speaking of Citrus Hill in Division 3, Jeff, we've got 3 Val Verde schools in the semifinals. This was all my idea. I came up with this. That there's 3 teams in the semifinals. Of course, we talked about Citrus Hill Division 3, the Rancho Verde in Division 2 as they go on the road to Sherman Oaks to take on Notre Dame, and then of course Orange Vista taking on Gary in Division 13. So I think that, you know, we talked about the Mountain Pass League, but how about the Val Verde School District with 3 teams in the semifinals? They could have 3 champions.
Well, give that superintendent a raise and make sure all those it trickles down to the coaches, because, man alive, that's the best football right now in the state of California, possibly in the entire country. I don't know of any other school district that can even come close to matching that.
All right, Jeff, and let's wrap things up here. Let's roll some of those Kaiser highlights, because Billy Cardosi and the Kaiser Cats continue to roll. Christian Hunter continuing to put up huge numbers, again, leading the state in touchdowns, and one of the leaders in rushing yards in the state as well. But couldn't be more happy for Coach Cardosi, who has a new daughter. His team's in the semifinals, and he hit us up on Twitter and said that Kaiser, in 18 years, they have made the CIF semifinals in 10 of those 18 years. Jeff, that's a program. That's not a flash in the pan having one good year. That's a program.
Well, I mean, that's a program. You got to think about the guys that are involved in this program. They were part of that big Fontana High School when they were, mythical national champions. I'll tell you what, that coaching tree from Coach Bruick has trickled down. Cardosi's part of that tree. You might as well just continue it just in Fontana, just at the new high school.
So that's Kaiser in Division 8. They will take on Santa Ana in the semifinals. All right, back here live in studio. Let's wrap up this first segment as, Jeff, we take a look at our Inland Sports Show Grade 8 and 4 more rankings going into the semifinals. A little bit of movement as we saw Norco lost to Upland last week. So go ahead and punch up those rankings, and there they are. Centennial still on top. We got Rancho Verde coming in at number 2. They're both a perfect 12-0. Cajon comes in at number 3, followed by Heritage. I know Heritage beat Cajon head-to-head, but the Cowboys are still playing, so we got to reward them a little bit for that. There's Citrus Hill at 5, followed by Norco, Vista Murrieta, and Redlands East Valley. In our 4 more, Santiago, Murrieta Valley, Aquinas, and San Jacinto. So, Jeff, at this point of the year, we don't see a lot of these schools still playing. So if it's semifinals and your team's still alive, I know Thanksgiving used to be the benchmark, right? If you were practicing the week of Thanksgiving, it was a huge deal. But now that's the week of the championship games. But to still be playing at this point means you're doing something right.
Yes, you definitely are. But you have a guy in that room there that's probably a little upset he's not on that list.
Yeah, where is Orange Vista?
Yeah, hey, I'm glad I'm not there. He's bigger and tougher than me, and I know he's bigger and tougher than you, so you might have to explain something to him.
Well, Jeff, hey, have a great call tonight. The Highlanders taking on the Runnin' Rebels, and we'll see if David Patrick and UCR can get their first win of the season.
Make sure you go to GoHighlanders.com at 6:50. We're going to do pregame. I'm going to have an interview with Coach Patrick. And 7:05, the Highlanders are going to beat the Runnin' Rebels in Las Vegas.
Yeah, and enjoy that long bus ride back. Either way, win or lose.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for reminding me, bud.
The great Jeff Gorham live in Las Vegas. When we come back, Greg Zomal live in studio to talk Orange Vista football. We'll be back on the Inland Sports TV show.
What's up? It's Patrick and 40 morning on 96.7 KCal Rocks.
You're watching the Inland Sports TV show. We love you, Pep.
The Inland Sports Show is brought to you by Spoiled. Quick, quality oil change. Spoil yourself and your car at Spoiled. Kin Sporting Goods. They have all of your sporting gear needs, Letterman's jackets, and team uniforms. Catalano Motors in Corona off of Temescal Canyon Road. You're going to save thousands of dollars at Catalano Motors. And Boost Performance Training with Coach Ray Bass. Athletes of all levels and all sports are going to Boost Performance Training in Corona.
God, first of all. I thank the great people that I've got around me that help support me, the people that work for me. As I started, if it wasn't for the people around me, we probably wouldn't be here right now, but I've got a great staff. I've got great people that do stuff for us outside the store, and we've been very, very fortunate. Our service is impeccable, and we just keep trying to get better every year. We can do online stuff for your teams, as well as, like I said, the screen printing, the embroidery. We also have 3 women that do extra sewing for us, like tackle tool on uniforms, or the bling or rhinestones for different shirts for the ladies. That's why we have certain racks just for certain schools, and the fun about that is that it turns into other schools that may come in here that aren't as close, that we can do stuff for them as well. We've had very, very good customers throughout the years, and it's just been a blast.
focus on the customer here. Believe it or not, that is the biggest thing for customers on an oil change. They just want the convenience of coming in, driving in, getting it done, and driving out. We just greet them, get them going, and they're done in about 10 minutes or so. We don't push any sales on them. We do the oil change, and I think that's what sets us apart is our customer service. Vacuumed and cleaned your windshield for you as well. Everything's looking pretty good. You come into us one time, believe me, we'll spoil you and you'll be ready to come back the next time.
And welcome back to the Inland Sports TV show. In the hot seat this week, the head football coach at Orange Vista High School, Greg Zomal. And Coach, man, what a run it's been this season for the Coyotes. Yeah. Now you're in the semifinals, and I know it's not easy, but you guys have made it look easy so far with a lot of big wins. What's going right? What's going correct right now for Orange Vista?
Right now, everything's going right. Yeah. I mean, we're healthy right now. It's a real exciting time right now at the school. They're supporting us. The admin is supporting us. All the students are really fired up. Teachers are fired up. The kids are fired up. I'm fired up. I mean, everybody's going. So we just been fortunate this year that it's been kind of a really breakout season for us. The first year with seniors, so it's been awesome.
Now, I remember even going back to last year, we came out and we did your game against Rialto. I want to say that was a Saturday night.
Yes.
And you could see the writing on the wall that, you guys had some serious players and you were going to have some success. But are you surprised it came so fast?
I'm glad you saw that last year because last year it didn't turn out so well for us.
But you saw it, yeah.
But yeah, I was excited after that game that our kids came through in the end because that was kind of a clutch game for them. And that Rialto came back and kind of threatened us. And yes, I was always optimistic about our potential, but this year, man, I think we've kind of gone further than I could have ever imagined with this group, with the talent that we have and the coaching staff I have. It's been great.
Now, we were kind of talking a little bit off camera. Of course, your brother Eric, the head football coach at Citrus Hill, he's also in the semifinals in Division III. Do you communicate with him very much at this time of the year when you both have big games coming up this week?
My wife calls him my other woman. My girlfriend, because we
always
talk.
On the phone, right?
Yeah, we're always on the phone. We're always on the phone, and we just talk, just brother conversation, and then we talk a lot of football. And just kind of stay in communication. We've coached together for years. We've been around each other for years. So it's always one of those things where we're just comfortable, talking to someone that we, know like that.
They understand you, and you get what he's probably trying to do over there, and he probably gets what you're trying to do at Orange Vista, and maybe you can help each other out. Mm-hmm. I know the Zomal family is a big football family. Your mom is always loud and enjoys the football. And what happens if Citrus Hill and Orange Vista are playing championship games on the same night? What'll happen on that night?
She'll probably have to go halftime. That's probably what she'll do. We do have I have nephews that play at Citrus, so she does. I don't fault her for favoring Citrus right now, but when those guys leave, then it's going to have to be something that we kind of equal out. But she's the biggest fan. I'm glad you shouted her out because she's our biggest fan. She's the biggest fan of our program, both programs. She's excited for both of us, and it's always fun with her.
So you've got Gary coming up in the semifinals. Taking a look at some video highlights of that huge win in the previous week against Loara in Anaheim. The rushing game. Wow. I mean, you guys just pile up yards on the ground. Is that by design? Do you want to be a running team, or you just look at the guys you have and say, you know what, we're going to run the football?
I've always favored the run. I think most football coaches would say that if you're running the ball, you're controlling the game. Mm-hmm. And so that's something I was taught young in football, both in high school as well as in college. And so, yes, it's by design, although, we throw the ball a little bit. We try to, kind of balance it up a little bit.
Yeah.
But if you can run the ball, I think you control the game, and that's something we take pride in, and it's due to our O-line play. Those guys are really kind of taking on the role of let's get after people, and the running backs will follow suit with that.
Now, please correct me if I'm wrong, because I might be, but going back to 2015 when Citrus Hill played Heritage for the CIF title, did Citrus Hill even attempt to pass in that game? I can't remember. They didn't, right?
No, we didn't.
So, I mean, obviously you come from some Citrus Hill tradition where the Hawks have proven that if you can run the football well, you can go all the way to a CIF championship game, and that's exactly what you guys are doing right now. You're running the football really well.
Yeah, that's the formula for success. I think, it takes the running backs embracing blocking. I always talk to the kids about football not being a throwing and catching game. It's really about blocking and tackling, and our kids have embraced that. So yes, it's the formula for success. And in 2015, we took it to extreme, and I think this year we're taking it to extreme again.
I saw some of those stats against that Loara game, and I think it was close to 500 yards on the ground.
500 yards, yes.
Unbelievable. So now you have Gary, without giving away all your secrets. I mean, what do we know about this Gary team? What do you think maybe some of the key matchups might be on the field?
They run the ball too. They're really good. They come with a different approach than us. They're a lot more misdirection. They're a single wing team. They got a quarterback in the shotgun. He's going to fake to different running backs, hand it off sometimes. And they actually shocked a favorite last week. With St. Bernard's were their favorite in their game. So St. Bernard's, what I thought, had better athletes and were favored to win that throwing the ball. But Gary, kind of pounded them a little bit and ended up with a win.
When you see the brackets come out for the first time on that first Sunday, when the CIF Southern section unveils them, do you look at all the teams and think, okay, this might be a potential matchup, or do you just kind of worry about, hey, here's our first round opponent, and whoever we see down the road, we see down the road?
I'm going to be honest with you. Our one loss this year is El Monte, and we looked at it. We knew they were going to be on the other side, and so that was really our biggest concern was are we going to see them in the finals if we make it? And that's kind of what's looking like is going to happen.
And that's how they set up the bracket, right? They have Orange Vista on one side, El Monte on the other, but of course you got to get past Gary first, who, by all accounts, if they beat St. Bernard like that, you can't overlook them, right, in the semis.
Never overlook. You always got to take your opponent serious. That's something I learned in college. I played at Cal, and so when I was playing, we were kind of at the bottom, the cellar dwellers, so to speak. But so we had to prepare every week seriously for the teams that we're playing. So no, I don't take anybody for granted.
Now, this isn't your first rodeo. Obviously, with Citrus Hill, you guys went to the CIF championship game multiple times. Do you try to reflect back on that experience and what it was like practicing this late into the season and gearing up for big games and apply it to what you're doing now as the head coach? And maybe some of these young kids who have never been in a situation like this where we're talking CIF semifinals. Not a lot of teams are playing at this point of the year.
It was funny when you referred to Hemet. I'm always referring to programs, not so much specific programs, but to tell our kids for them to be in the playoffs first year with seniors, and then to make it to the quarterfinals, the first year of seniors, semifinals. And if we make it to the finals, there's programs been around forever that don't make it to the finals, or don't ever win.
Yeah, did you hear the stat on Hemet?
Yeah,
last time they were in the I mean, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, so I'm always talking to the kids about what a special moment this is and what a special opportunity it is for these guys. And even yesterday, I asked the kids if they were excited when we got out to practice. It was kind of windy and cold. And I asked the kids if they were excited to be there, and they all were, hooping and hollering and stuff. And they understand, I think, even being young, they understand that this is possibly history that they're making. So I always refer to the kids about how special this is.
And they're setting the bar for all the future teams at Orange Vista. I mean, they'll always be the first one to reach the semis. If you guys win, the first one to the finals, and so on. So they're setting that bar. Coach, have the Coyotes changed much since the first time you guys played El Monte? I know you were missing some guys in that game, but do you feel like this team has gotten better, improved, cleaned things up as the season has gone on?
I don't know if this is. It was kind of weird that week. I told the kids for the first time. I said, I hate to say it, but we didn't have a good week of practice. We were distracted. And I said, man, one of the things is L, when you take an L, most of the time it means learn. Hopefully it means learn. So I don't know if I put it out there for the kids, but they learned a lot. I learned a lot as a new head coach, and we've definitely improved on a lot of things. We've changed some things. Not to get into specifics about what we've done on offense or defense, but we've changed a lot. El Monte's gotten better also. We've kind of taken a peek at them, recently, and they've gotten better. They got a guy who's really good. He's their guy, their number one guy, and their tailback, and they've gotten better, and so have we. So I'm looking forward to it, man. If we can get past Gary and host. Because we'll be hosting.
Yeah, the championship flips, right?
It's very exciting, and I'm looking forward to it, the challenge of it.
Can you imagine the first CIF championship game you guys playing? If you could host it in your stadium?
Yes, that would be
nice. That'd be pretty special, right?
That would be special.
All right, that's Greg Zumwalt, the head football coach at Orange Vista High School. The Coyotes taking on Gary in the CIF Southern Section Division 13 semifinals coming up this week. Coach, I appreciate it.
All right.
Sorry for the cold hands in here.
Mine too.
It's like a meat locker here in the studio.
It is. No, that's why I brought my jacket.
It's nice and warm. Yes. Are you heading to practice right now?
Yes, I am. We're practicing right now. I got coaches on the field right now. So.
Well, we appreciate you taking a couple minutes, to time out and come in here and talk to us. So we appreciate it.
Cool. I appreciate you asking me, Pep.
All right.
It's very much an honor to be with you on the show, and I really, really appreciate what you do for high school sports in the area. So it's a high honor to be here.
We're trying, man. We were teaming up with Teen Vision TV16 to do a lot, and you guys are having a great season, as well as Citrus Hill and Rancho Verde. So we're trying to follow you guys along the entire way. So best of luck on Friday against Gary.
Thank you.
All right, that's Coach Zumwalt. When we come back, we'll talk more high school football, the semifinal matchups, plus San Bernardino Valley College going on to play for the American Conference Championship. When we come back on the Inland Sports TV show.
How you guys doing? Coach Ray here. We're back at the BPC. Wanted to continue our movement-based mechanics here. We're talking about a back pedal. So today we're going to demonstrate how we program our back pedals, how we teach mechanics, and how we execute. Come check it out. So one of the first things I like to do with my athletes before we actually get into a back pedal is I like to work on the movement patterns of an actual back pedal. So what Cruz is going to do, he's going to get into a staggered position here. So let's go ahead and bring those feet in a little tighter. All right. And so what I'm looking for with that backward movement, I'm looking for a push off that front leg and then a step back with the back leg. So what we do to simulate that movement is we're going to do a step to a lunge. So you're going to go ahead and push off that left foot with the ball of your foot, and you're going to lunge back with the right. So ready? Go. You're going to lunge it down and then bring it back. Good. Go. Give me a couple reps of those, and we're doing that step to lunge. So we're simulating that movement pattern of the back pedal. We're going to push off that front leg and step with the back. And relax. So what we'll do is we'll build off of that, and we're going to go into an actual back pedal now. So go ahead and get in your 2-point stance there, or stagger stance, Cruz, facing the camera, facing the camera. All right, and all you're going to do is give me a quick back pedal. So we're going to simulate that movement pattern with a push and quick step. Here we go, ready? And go. Good, there we go, right there, bring it back. Go ahead and alternate feet there. And go. Good, so you take a look at the footwork here. Those first 2 steps, we got a push and a step, ready? Go. Good, nice job. Backward movements, how we teach our pedals, how we progress them, right here at Boost.
We're a small family-owned, strive for quality pre-owned vehicles. We're not a volume dealer, and we take every deal as personal to us. We're a low-stress environment. We're not a pressure sales house. If you want to shop us, you're more than welcome to shop us. We have, like I said, great rates, competitive financing, a lot of one-owner, clean Carfax, clean title vehicles. As you see, we have Carfax everywhere. That's most important to us, to educate our customers before they make a purchase. We're right off of Ontario, right off a couple exits off the 15 freeway, off Cajelco, off El Cerrito, and we're right on the main drag going into Dos Logos and the crossings. We have great financing. We have great lenders that we're using. We do buy, sell, trade, cash for your car. Whatever we need to do to help accommodate the customer, that's what we're here for. We have a little bit of everything. We start at about $69.95 and go all the way up to $100,000. We have Escalades, we have commuters, we have pickup trucks, we have Jeeps, sport utilities, and if we don't have it, our specialty is finding you exactly what you're looking for.
And welcome back to the Inland Sports TV show. Big shout out to our fine sponsors, Spoiled Quick Quality Oil Change, Kin Sporting Goods, Boost Performance Training, and of course Catalano Motors in Corona off of Temescal Canyon Road. Okay, we're talking high school football semifinals. If you missed it off the top, Jeff Gorham joined us live from Las Vegas. He's calling the UC Riverside men's basketball game tonight against UNLV. We kind of went deeper into some of the matchups, but real quick, we want to go through all of the matchups in our coverage area. So games that we will be keeping an eye on. You can join us on IEMG this Friday night for Sports Weekly Live. We're live from 11 to midnight with all your scores and highlights, and we will definitely be covering these games with highlights, interviews, and, of course, all the scores. Guys, let's go ahead and punch up that graphic that has all the games because we have a dozen games starting in Division I, and of course we're talking about that one, Centennial at Mater Dei. So much history between the Huskies and the Monarchs. They will meet in the semifinals. The winner of that one will likely play Bosco, and we have officially heard, we kind of assumed that we have officially heard from the CIF Southern Section that the Division I championship game will be at Cerritos College. That is Division I. Division II, the Rancho Verde on the road at Notre Dame in Sherman Oaks. In Division III, Cajon at Capo Valley, Sierra Canyon at Citrus Hill. If Citrus Hill and Cajon win, again, the Hawks would travel to San Bernardino to take on the Cowboys. In Division VII, San Jacinto and Eric Galliano, their season continues. Big win against Notre Dame in the quarters. Now they play at Valencia in Orange County. Kaiser is at home for Santa Ana in Division VIII. In Division IX, San Gorgonio continues their championship run. Remember, in 2016, San G won their first ever CIF title. Now they're one win away from playing for another one in Division IX as they host Garden Grove. In Division 10, San Andreas League champion Eisenhower will play on the road at El Rancho, which is like the Pico Rivera area, just outside of Los Angeles. That's Division 10. In Division 11, Western at Beaumont, Hemet at Peninsula. If Hemet and Beaumont win, Hemet would host the championship game. Unbelievable if two Mountain Pass League schools can get to the finals. In Division 12, the top seed Linfield Christian Lions will play at Xavier Prep in Palm Desert. And finally, in Division 13, we just had Coach Zomal in studio. Orange Vista playing at Gary in the D13 semifinals. So coming up Friday night, Sports Weekly Live on IEMG. We will have all your scores and highlights from those 12 games. And we'll also look ahead to the championship games because the CIF has already done the championship coin flip. So we already know, depending who wins in the semis, who would host in the final. So we know that Centennial would be playing at Cerritos College. We also know that Rancho Verde would be at home, definitely in Division II, regardless of who they play. Cajon's going to be at home for sure in Division III. So again, come Friday night on Sports Weekly Live on IEMG, we'll know those championship games. Now shifting gears to college football, San Bernardino Valley College won their American Mountain Division title. Now they're moving on to play for a conference championship, and what a season it's been in the second year for head coach Daniel Algatis. Cullen Holt has more with the Wolverines and head coach Daniel Algatis. Cullen?
Well, San Bernardino Valley College is going bowling. How exciting is that? After a season last year where they kind of danced with making a bowl game, they didn't get into a postseason game. And this year, well, they wanted to win 9 games in a 10-game season, and they did just that, going 9-1 with a lone loss to RCC. Daniel Algadas has the offense firing on all cylinders, and on Saturday, they will be rewarded with an American Conference Championship matchup against Allen Hancock in a bowl game that will be at Righetti High School Saturday at 6 p.m. And as I mentioned, this offense clicking on all cylinders. They've smashed pretty much every offensive record out there, Pep. As far as Armando Herrera goes, the quarterback, he's broken pretty much every single season and career record. The team, as far as scoring goes, has broken the program record for most points scored in a season. So dominant fashion, a 9-1 season for the American Mountain Division champions. They'll take on the American Pacific Division champion, Allen Hancock, once again at Righetti High School. And last season, in that year when SBVC was toying with being bowl eligible, they actually went on the road to Allen Hancock, playing at their stadium, and picked up a 24-18 win. That was an upset win for the Wolverines. They're looking to do that again coming up this Saturday. So earlier this week, after they picked up that division championship, clinched it with a win, we get caught up with Daniel Algadas and Armando Herrera to talk to them about an amazing season and a chance to cap it off with a bowl win.
Inland Sports.
I mean, we just did what we had to do. We knew coming into this year, we had a big opportunity to succeed, and we just kept going game after game and just kept competing, and we ended up conference champions, and it feels amazing. So
because we got another big one ahead of us, but just all the coaches that we have, that all the time that they put in and getting here every day and making the sacrifice and doing all that for the players, and what the players do every day, coming from different places in the country or different places in town, and just finding a way to get here every day and give us full effort is amazing. So, a tribute to everybody else. I just happen to be holding the microphone. These guys are amazing.
I'm pretty excited. I've never been to a bowl game. Last season we came up a little short, but it's a team we played before. Last year I played them, and I'm looking forward to competing against them and just, doing what we have to do. Do anything to get that dub. So,
a long drive. We've gotten through quite a bit of their video so far, and so a lot of the same that they've done over the last couple of years. A little defensive adjustments from what we saw last year, but a very good team, a very sound team, a very tough team, championship worthy. It's a good matchup.
Inland Sports.
Well, they capped off with a big win over College of the Desert out at Death Valley. Once again, Allen Hancock is 6 p.m. start time at Righetti High School. The Wolverines going bowling in the 2018 season. Pep, back to you.
All right, great stuff, Cullen. We appreciate that. Maybe the biggest news of all, quarterback Armando Herrera has gone blonde. He bleached his hair. That's true. You saw it in the video as well. He's gone blonde. And RCC making it to the National Conference playoffs. They are the number 2 seed. So in the National Conference, they actually have a 4-team playoff system that will go on to play the state championship game against the team from the north. RCC will open up the playoffs at home against El Camino this Saturday, 6 o'clock, as the Tigers go a perfect 10-0 during the regular season. So best of luck to the RCC Tigers as well. And I believe our guy Daryl Trujillo, our senior writer here for the Inland Sports Show, will be covering that game. Good chance for RCC. When we come back here on the Inland Sports TV show, we are about to go inside the Lancers, presented by Magnolia Heating and Cooling, as we catch up with the California Baptist women's basketball team. We'll be back on the Inland Sports TV show.
The Inland Sports Show is brought to you by Spoiled. Quick, quality oil change. Spoil yourself and your car at Spoiled. Kin Sporting Goods. They have all of your sporting gear needs, Letterman's jackets, and team uniforms. Catalano Motors in Corona off of Temescal Canyon Road. You're going to save thousands of dollars at Catalano Motors. And Boost Performance Training with Coach Ray Bass. Athletes of all levels and all sports are going to Boost Performance Training in Corona.
Focus on the customer here. Believe it or not, that is the biggest thing for customers on an oil change. They just want the convenience of coming in, driving in, getting it done, and driving out. We just greet them, get them going, and they're done in about 10 minutes or so. We don't push any sales on them. We do the oil change, and I think that's what sets us apart is our customer service. Vacuumed and cleaned your windshield for you as well. Everything's looking pretty good. Come into us one time, believe me, we'll spoil you and you'll be ready to come back the next time.
And welcome back to the Inland Sports TV show as we're about to go inside the Lancers presented by Magnolia Heating and Cooling. And congratulations to the CBU women's basketball team picking up their first Division I victory against Long Beach State from out of the Big West Conference. Now the Lancers trying to go for back-to-back wins against Big West Conference schools as CBU will host Fullerton tonight. We're about to go inside the Lancers with the California Baptist women's basketball team as we hear from head coach Jared Olson about the upcoming season. Here we go with Coach Olson and the Lancers.
Been getting that question a lot, and I think a lot of people have different opinions on what that's supposed to look like. I think the thing we've been trying to do the most is just kind of expect the unexpected and expect things to be a little bit unusual, and try to be as flexible as we can so we can kind of make changes on the fly. Because we just haven't played any of these teams before. We haven't been to a lot of these cities and these gyms before. It's just going to be a lot different. Everything's new, but we're pretty excited about the challenge, and I think we'll be up to it. Just going to take a little bit of time to kind of work through some things early on, I think. The thing you always kind of struggle with is, and because we've played some of those teams in the past in exhibitions and stuff like that, but it's different playing them as a Division II school, because in Division I you're playing those teams every single night. So it's one thing to play Cal State Fullerton once in a game, but to play those kind of teams, Riverside, Long Beach every night is certainly a lot different. And we're going to have to really work on our consistency and just being prepared on a nightly basis. But they're definitely they're really good teams to compare ourselves to as far as if we can play with those guys. I think we'll be able to play with the teams in the WAC, and kind of looking forward to see where we are. They've got a good championship pedigree. They're really well coached at San Jacinto. Chris does a great job and really prepared those guys well for college, and they've been easy to coach right from the get-go, and they've been working hard, and I think they'll have really good years for us.
Just to dominant, come out with a lot of energy. I want to win every game, but just come with that powerful influence. Work harder, play better defense. If a post is right-handed, make sure they go nothing but left hand, and just follow coach's defense and what he has for them.
We took those 3 junior college kids because we thought they'd be really good fits on the team. We thought they could come in and have an impact right away, but generally we're taking a long view of things. We're still 4 years away from even being eligible for the NCAA tournament, so we're trying to build with younger players. And we have a good group of freshmen. Some of them are going to be coming along a little bit slower, but I think we've got a good group that can come in and play. We have 2 commitments for next year already, that I think are going to be really good players for us. So we're definitely trying to take a long view of that and just kind of hopefully prepare us not only for, we have some short-term solutions, but also like longer-term plays. I mean, the goals we have are, our goal is to kind of finish in the top 3 of the WAC, or, we want to try to win it, but we've done some kind of things on a daily basis, as far as we have basically 2 games every week. We're trying to win at least 1 game every week, if not 2. We have a goal of trying to have a chance to win every 4th quarter. And just trying to set little milestones along the way. Making the NIT would be a big deal for us, or the WBI. One of those 2 tournaments would be a big goal for us. And if we do well in the regular season, that'd be a possibility. There's still a lot to play for. Most of the leagues at our level, you're only getting 1 team in the NCAAs anyway, and it comes down to whoever wins the tournament, which is just kind of a lot of randomness at times. So we think there's a lot to play for despite the NCAAs.
And best of luck to California Baptist women's basketball taking on Cal State Fullerton tonight at the CBU Event Center. And the men's team on the road taking on Oral Roberts tonight. So both basketball teams in action. Now, if you're asking me, the big event coming up at CBU is going down this Friday at the Event Center. Let's punch up our very fancy graphic as we're talking wrestling now. California Baptist Wrestling taking on the Ohio State, 7 o'clock. They're going to get the party started there as the Buckeyes come to Riverside. A special shout out to Jim Clover, the biggest Ohio State fan I know. He went to Ohio State, and now he gets to see his Buckeyes take on the Lancers. That'll be this Friday, 7 o'clock inside the CBU Events Center as we just went inside the Lancers, presented by Magnolia Heating and Cooling. And finally, just a quick programming reminder. A week from today, we will do the Inland Sports TV show live from CBU as we will have the championship game of the Austin Gorrell Classic live here on the Inland Sports YouTube channel and also live on Twitter. I hope you'll join us. That's November 20th, a week from tonight, 6 o'clock at CBU for the 4th annual Austin Gorrell Classic, a very special event, and we're just honored and privileged to be playing a small part in it. So we'll start early, probably before 6 o'clock, as they do have a scholarship ceremony. We will likely take that live as well. So watch the Inland Sports Show live from CBU and then hang around for the Austin Gorrell Baseball Championship game right after that as well. Big thanks to Greg Zomalt, joined us live in studio, the head coach of the Orange Vista football team, and Jeff Gorham live from Las Vegas to preview the UCR game against UNLV. For everyone here at Teen Vision TV 16, Johnny, Anthony, and the entire crew, we appreciate you watching. My name is Pep Fernandez, and we'll see you next time on the Inland Sports TV show.